harsh words for Israel. We just want to let those viewers know who are expecting to see Larry King that you're going to see him in just a few minutes, but we want to stay with this story for the time being. CNN's United Nations correspondent Richard Roth joins us. Richard, harsh words may be an understatement. Just a moment now. We're listening to Dan Gillerman. Thank you. He is the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. Let's listen.
And I would like to especially commend Ambassadors John Bolton and Jean-Marc de la Sablier for their determination and commitment. Mr. President, today, but for the grace of God and the alertness of the British security authorities, we could have been sitting here in the aftermath of a terrorist atrocity greater even than 9/11. The world would have mourned, but in the streets of Tehran, Damascus, and parts of Lebanon, there would have been rejoicing, just as there was after 9/11. Mercifully, the plan was foiled, but the threat and the genocidal ideology that inspired it remains. It is that same genocidal ideology, it is that same fanatical terrorism that Israel has been confronting in Lebanon for the past month and that this Council is asked to address today. For the past month, Israel has been confronting this vile phenomenon as it expresses itself in our region. But the threat we have been facing is not limited to our region. It has set its sights on the world at large. The terrorists in our region have a gruesome record of diabolical invention in perpetrating their atrocities. But these heinous innovations have been quick to cross borders and continents. Hostage-taking, suicide bombings, and hijackings know no boundaries. As many states represented in this table, among them Argentina, Britain, Greece, Japan, Qatar, Russia, and the United States, know only too well. And not only the countries of the West are their targets, but also the moderate regimes in our region which offer hope of progress and prosperity and the basic freedoms to which the terrorists are so fundamentally opposed. The stakes, Mr. President, could not be higher. Yesterday's foiled plot is a wake-up call that the campaign of terror, motivated by fanatical intent and backed by lethal weapons of destruction, is not limited to any region, but threatens the whole world. The tragedy we have seen in our region over the past weeks, it tells us, is but a preview of the coming attraction produced by Iran, directed by Syria, acted by terrorist groups, soon to be seen in a theater near you. Whether we will succeed in defeating this threat depends in large part on the resolve we demonstrate today. Mr. President, it is often said, where there's a will, there's a way. But recent years have demonstrated that where there is a way, there is not always a will. The way to avoid the crisis between Israel and Lebanon has been clear. Implementation of the unconditional obligations set out in resolutions 1559 and 1680, which sets out issues for resolution between Lebanon and Syria. The clear path forward required the disarming and disbanding of Hezbollah and other militias and the exercise by Lebanon, like any sovereign state, of control and authority over all its territory. But the will to implement this way has been lacking. And over the past month, the peoples of Israel and Lebanon have paid a heavy price for this inaction. In the face of the failure to ensure that the obligations set out in these resolutions were implemented, Israel has had no choice but to do what Lebanon has failed to. As a result, Hezbollah's lethal capabilities have been dealt a major blow. Bases have been dismantled and stockpiles of Iranian missiles have been destroyed. Southern Lebanon has been substantially cleared of the infrastructure of terrorism, and the terrorists and their sponsors have learned that the campaign of brutal terrorism will meet with a forceful response it deserves. But after 6 years of inaction, which have enabled Hezbollah to serve foreign interests and to dig itself deeply into Lebanese soil, there is much yet to be done. Israel, like any state, has the right and the duty to defend its citizens from Hezbollah's unprovoked attacks, to bring its captive soldiers home, and to continue its efforts to complete the task of rooting out the terrorists and remove the threat they present to the Israeli and Lebanese people.